Ladies and gentlemen, this is Elite ATL Live Entrepreneur Spotlight, and we are here with Greg Pamer.
Good afternoon. How are you?
Hi, Greg. How are you?
Excellent. Do you hear me okay?
You sound great.
Excellent. Man, I've had the hardest time trying to figure out. This is the first time live on Instagram. So I was like, wow, I'm trying to figure this thing out.
Congratulations, you did
Yes,
it.
yes. It took several times to do it, but I'm in. So thank
You
you for the invitation.
persevered. You persevered.
Oh, absolutely. And in business, the key word is persevere. No question
Mm,
about it, for
no
sure.
question about it. Exactly. And now you're here and you're alive. I'm proud of you. Tell me about yourself, Greg.
Well, I've been in Atlanta since the '80s. I am a government contractor, so we do staffing for the government. We also do things like training, HR solutions, and I also have
Mm.
back risk management. So all of those things combine to put us in a position to really go after some of these government contracts. And
Mm.
it's been quite a journey for sure.
Mm. I bet. I bet. So, I mean, government contracting, amazing. So, do you do it for other companies? You help other companies obtain funding or other contracts?
No, that's not in our wheelhouse. But we do know a little bit about finance. But what we do is that we look for partners that are working with the government, and we also look for opportunities to provide like medical staffing, IT staffing, those types of things to government entities. I've got a couple of partners I just talked to just a couple of days ago that are on the commercial side. So they're looking to do it with commercial businesses, the Fortune 500s. We've pretty much exclusively focused on government contracts because they spend more money than anyone. They've got the biggest pocketbook. So we just decided,
Mhm.
wait, why not just hang in there with the biggest pocketbook? But some opportunities have popped up, and we're like, well, hey, let's go for it.
Well, how do you think that? We have a question in the comments by Midlife Masterpiece.
Mhm.
She wants to know how do you feel about government contracting? How it's going to be affected by the incoming administration?
One thing about the government is that it's a huge entity, and it takes time
Mm.
for that huge entity to turn. It's kind of like a big barge versus a speedboat. Small businesses maneuver quickly, but the
Right.
government is like a big barge. It takes time
The
for it.
a steamboat.
Absolutely. So it takes time for it to change direction. So I would not be afraid of it. I think what those guys are looking to do is probably trim some of the fat. The things that we're doing are basically a people. So we're helping. But yeah, we move people around. So I don't really see it affecting us. Now some of these pet projects they'll probably be affected. I don't know if people pay attention to politics, but a lot of these programs that are out there just don't make any kind of sense. But I think that in the space that we are, I don't really see it affecting us. And I'll tell you right now, it's just as good a time to dive in if a person's thinking about it. There's no sense in waiting. I mean, you go to YouTube, you see all types of people that have had success in government contracting. And I'm sure that if you talk to those guys, they'll say, hey, man, it's no better time than now. One thing that I've always believed is procrastination is the killer of more dreams than anything else in the universe.
Yes, that's very, very, very true. You have to start your path in order to get to your destination. I was just saying, I couldn't agree more. Now, I wanted to ask you, what's your ideal client?
Our ideal client, the ones that we've really targeted are the VA, the CDC, and HHS,
Mm.
because those guys, I mean, they're especially HHS. I mean, that's the biggest organization when it comes to health and welfare. So we've targeted them, but we've really been able to drill down into the VA. So that's our primary customer is the VA hospitals, and then those clinics as well. So that's where we're spending a lot of time there. And the government, like I say, it's a big entity, but that's where we're starting at. But eventually, we like to hit some other, like the Department of Defense. Uh,
Mm.
but
And what kind of contracts would you, find for them?
on that side, it would be like administrative staffing. It would be IT staff, especially I would say IT staffing, project management types of things. And we also do trainings. So
Mm-hmm.
between training, between staffing and human resource solutions, that's pretty much in our wheelhouse. That's where we pretty much dance. And that's where we try to keep the focus. But again, when someone brings an opportunity, hey, your mind is like a parachute. It's only good when it's open. So we always try to keep an open mind.
You're absolutely right. Who do you find, like, what scenarios, or give me an example rather, where you had a client with a closed mind?
Uh, those guys usually, when they have a closed mind, they close the business as quickly as they close their mind. But
Mm-hmm.
typically,
And it don't last long.
right. I mean, you have to be able to listen to sound advice. And when people give you advice, especially people that know what they're talking about, like as an example, I'm not an accountant, I'm not an attorney, don't want to be one. However,
Mm-hmm.
we have an accountant, we have attorneys that we listen to, and then we make those decisions based on their recommendations. Does this make sense for our business? So you
Right.
always have to be able to listen and to be able to take what you hear and be able to process it. Is this applicable to what we do? And if it is, how would it affect our business? And if it affects us in the positive, let's go for it. If it's a negative,
Right.
well, let's not do that. But you have
Right.
some
Of course.
that you tell them, you give them sound advice, and instead of taking the advice, they go another way. And the next thing you know, you're like, they're having a garage sale over there at that business. I wonder what happened.
Oh, no. Do you work with small businesses at all?
Oh yeah. We team up with small, with large, with medium businesses. When you're dealing with the government is so big, a small business cannot compete. You have to have partners. So we're always looking to partner up. We're always looking for collaborations. Because again, it's so big. I mean, as an example, $10 million to the government, to the federal government, is like it's like a dollar to us.
Mm-hmm.
And these guys have accounts that, I mean, if you go and you just look at some of the accounts and some of these awards, I mean, these guys are awarding $400 million accounts. I mean, go look at what Lockheed is making, Boeing.
Mm-hmm.
Look at the size and the scope of these contracts. These guys are walking away with 10, 20 billion in one project. So you can't walk into the government as a lone wolf. You have to walk in there, like you're a Fortune 500. So we're always looking for partners to partner up,
Okay.
to have capabilities. Because the thing about the government, when you're dealing with government entities, is you have to have some past performance. Who have you done it for? How can we find
Right.
you did a good job? Because they're risk adverse. They can't have
Mm.
business walking in off the street saying, "Oh yeah, we can improve your internet access, put in AI and all these things," and you don't have a track record. No, not gonna happen.
No, you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. I mean, the government is huge, and I mean, a penny to them is, $1 million to us, because
Okay.
it is $1 million and it's a penny to them. So I completely understand, but people want to know, how could they take advantage and get these contracts?
Uh, it's a process.
I know.
That's the thing about it. It's the process, and you have companies out here that actually help small businesses to get into the government space. I mean, that's not what we do, but we've gone to a lot of these different organizations. We've been through, as an example, I just graduated from SBA Thrive, and if anybody
Mm,
is on this line, I would highly suggest SBA Thrive.
mm,
They have it once a year. I think the next cohort, they'll start opening up the applications in February, and by May or June they'll make a selection. They'll cut it down to, like for our class we just went through, they cut it down to about 100 people or 100 businesses that actually qualified.
mm-hmm.
Of that 100, they had to select 25. Now keep in mind,
Wow.
100 were the ones that qualified. It might have been thousands that applied,
Right, right. Oh my
but
God. And then they still went down to
got it
25.
got it down to 100 that had potential.
Right.
And then from the 100, they had to select. The class is only 20, the class size is 25. So they had to cut it have, and it's across the nation, and it's also in Puerto Rico.
No.
But,
Well, it's definitely a large cohort of, opportunity out there with government contracts.
oh yeah.
I want to ask you, like, what project are you working on, like, right now?
Right now, we are working on staffing some medical personnel across the nation. So we've got some nurses, we have some social workers, and some lab technicians that we're looking for. And I also have a partner that's looking for a project manager. So we're also looking for a project manager to manage a project she was just awarded. So again, we do the HR, we do the staffing, we do the training, we do all those types of solutions. But um, that's the major thing that we're doing right now is medical staffing right now.
Well, where can people find you online so they can come on and take advantage, take advantage of the opportunities you guys have available?
They can find us on LinkedIn. We're on all of the social media outlets, but LinkedIn is pretty much where we have a big presence. But it's what is it? Greg Palmer Inc. You can find us. You can find us there on LinkedIn. And
Okay, Greg Palmer Inc. Greg, I may have to talk to you a little later because I come across so many small business owners, entrepreneurs, and I want to be able to give them opportunities after the interview. And it sounds like you have an abundance of opportunity there, working with the government contracts and the different projects. And I want to be able to give those small business owners opportunities. So I think we should definitely talk
yeah,
later.
that sounds like a plan. And remember this: the government buys everything,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
everything. You name
Mm-hmm.
it. It's a matter of finding out who's buying it and how much of it are they buying.
Amazing. Absolutely amazing. Thank you so much for your insight and coming on the show and telling us about expanding our mind about government contracts and everything that you do to obtain them. And thank you so much for creating so much workforce for us.
Oh, yes, it's definitely been a pleasure, and I like what you're doing. So keep up the good work. And man, this has been an adventure just figuring out how to get on here. So I've just about figured it out now. So thank you so much.
You nailed it, Greg.
All right.
Thank you so much for coming on the
Okay.
show.
All right. Thank you so much. Have a great evening.
Bye-bye.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Guys, that was Greg Palmer with Greg Palmer Inc. And wow, he does government contracting. And you're watching Elite ATL Entrepreneur Spotlight. We were just cut off, but we are back again. And we had Greg Palmer on, and he was telling us about how he obtains government contracts and creates opportunities out here in this world, honey, for small business owners. Okay, he was talking about $1 million contracts that he takes advantage of, obtains these contracts, and then creates opportunities for other business owners. Okay, he collaborates with them. If you sell clothes, if you sell that, if you do this, you provide this service, whatever it is, he will have opportunities, and he wants to make sure that people know about it. That's why he came on the show today. So you guys, definitely, I'm going to make sure that all his contact information is listed in his interview. All the finished interviews are showcased on Elite ATL Live interviews on Instagram and, of course, YouTube and everywhere else we distribute, because we want everybody to see your face. We want everybody to know your name. I want to expose all my entrepreneurs, all my tribe. I want everybody to know what you do, who you are.